A place to be, to groom your words, a place that is secured for the rest of mine. No other place but burial schools is the best.
My lovely learners at home, welcome back to this platform once again. Today in grade 4, we are considering the lesson on social studies. That's the subject we are going to look at. Then the lesson we are taking in social studies is intermarriage. Intermarriage. Then before we look at this, let's quickly look at what we did last time on this platform. Last time we talked about wages and income. That was what we talked about. And in that lesson, we looked at the meaning of wages, that of salary and income. I believe you still remember what we learned in that lesson. Then today, we are looking at this lesson, intermarriage. It's a totally a new lesson. All right, let's continue. What do you understand by marriage? I believe before now you have learned marriage now. Is it from the grade 1 or other classes? So what is marriage? That is what we want to look at. Then before we look at this intermarriage, what it is all about. Marriage can be defined as a legal union between a man and a woman to do what? To create a family ties. To form a family, is that what you are saying? Okay, to form a family or create a family ties. And to do what again? And for what? Social responsibilities. Social or legal responsibilities. This is what we look at as the meaning of marriage. I'm going to take it again, that marriage can be defined as a legal union between a man and a woman of marriageable age to do what? To form a family and to do what? Carry out some a social transaction. Now, what do we mean by legal union? Not when a boy and a girl are living together, but when a man and a woman that are of the age of marriage have decided to come together legally to form a family, or we say to create a family ties and to do what? And for social transactions or responsibilities. That is what a marriage is. Two people coming together and they have agreed. The parents have given their consent and everything that's regard that union has been settled. That's a legal union. They are free to live together as husband and wife, to create a family and to take some social responsibilities. That's what we look at as marriage. Then in our previous classes, we've learned that there are four forms of marriage. We talk about the Christian marriage, the Islamic marriage, the traditional marriage, and marriage by ordinance. We have looked at this and how these marriages are being carried out. That what makes a marriage a legal union is when the dowry, or we call it the bride price, has been paid. Then today we are moving a step further to look at what we call intermarriage. Intermarriage. What is intermarriage? Then intermarriage, we are going to look at the intramarriage. Then intermarriage. Intramarriage, this is how it is spelled. Intramarriage is a marriage between people of the same ethnic group or tribe. Intramarriage is a marriage between a man and a woman of the same ethnic group or tribe, especially for those of us in the African continent, especially in Nigeria. So intramarriage is a marriage between a man and a woman of the same ethnic group or tribe. For example, here in Nigeria, if a Yoruba man marries an Igbo woman, that is the Yoruba man marries a Yoruba woman, that is an intramarriage. An Igbo man marries an Igbo woman is also an intra-marriage. An Efik man marries an Efik woman is what? An intra-marriage. Marriage of of the same ethnic group. Please take notes. Marriage between people of the same ethnic group is called intramarriage. Then we look at the intermarriage itself. The intermarriage is a marriage between people of different ethnic groups or tribe. Intermarriage. Marriage between people or a man and a woman from different ethnic groups or tribe. For example, a Hausa man marries an Efik woman is what? In a intermarriage. A Yoruba man marries an Ijaw woman is what? Is intermarriage. Igbo man marries a Yoruba woman is what? Intermarriage. So this is what our lesson is going to be all about today. So marriage between people of different ethnic groups or tribe is called intermarriage. So don't confuse intra to be inter. Take note that intra is marriage within the same ethnic group or tribe, while inter is marriage between different ethnic groups or tribe. Are we together? I believe you've gotten that. Then when we talk about this intermarriage does not limit itself to only ethnic groups or tribe. We can also talk about interracial. When people from different races married themselves. A man from another race married to a woman from another race. It can also occur in religion. A man in Christian religion gets married to a woman from Islamic religion is also what? Intermarriage. So intermarriage does not only occur between different ethnic groups. It also cuts across other areas such as race and religion. Alright, now what are the advantages of this intermarriage? Alright, before we look at the advantages of intermarriage, let's look at what we have said so far by writing it on the board for us. Alright friends, here on the board we have the meaning of marriage, the intramarriage. You can see the examples of the intramarriage. Remember that intramarriage is the type of marriage between a man and a woman of the same ethnic group or tribe, especially those of us in the African continent and maybe especially Nigeria. Then examples we have here: a Yoruba man marries a Yoruba woman, an Igbo man marries an Igbo woman, an Efik man marries an Efik woman, a Hausa man marries a Hausa woman, and it continues like that. Then we look at the intermarriage itself, that it is the union between a man and a woman of different ethnic groups or tribe, as the case may be. Here are the examples. And we have stated that this intermarriage does not only occur between people of different ethnic groups. It can be found among people of different religions and races. That's what we need to take note of. Then we are also to look at advantages of intermarriage. Is intermarriage of any importance? Yes, it has some advantages. Now, what are these advantages? Number one, it helps to promote national unity. That's one of the things. It also fosters communal peace. It brings about peace. Then how will this take place? It helps to reduce, intermarriages helps to reduce intertribal or communal crisis, that is conflicts. You know, these days, this community or this ethnic group fights with this ethnic group. So by the time people from this ethnic group get married to people from this other ethnic group, and these two groups are now what we call in-laws, at least it can help to reduce the communal or intercommunal conflicts. Then apart from that also, the intermarriage helps to improve or widen our what? Social relationship. It helps to widen our social relationship, and it also what again does it do? Alright, we said that it also brings about what? Understanding, promotes understanding of our cultural differences. By the time this ethnic group gets married to this person from this other ethnic group, it will make the two, you learn the other person's, you learn about your partner's culture, and thereby we make an adjustment. Now, the intermarriages does not only have advantages, there are some advantages that come with it. Can you mention some of them? You are a Yoruba man and you get married to an Igbo man. Suppose they are to use your indigenous language. You are to use your mother tongue. Will your partner understand your mother tongue? No. Except maybe as time progresses, the person gets to learn and understand the dialects. If not, one of the problems is always what? Language problem, which definitely will be a barrier to communication in that family. We are talking about disadvantages of intermarriage. Brings about language problem. It hinders flow of communications, because definitely when, if I understand my dialect, you don't understand, we cannot flow together. Definitely what will happen? What do you think will happen? Are you saying something? Okay, they are to use English now. Alright, that leads us to the second point of it. It brings about the use of foreign languages, especially English at home. So when people from different ethnic groups get married, definitely they are to use what? English in the home. And the children that will come up from that family will definitely tend to speak English instead of their mother tongue or their indigenous language, which is not very, very proper. That's number two. Then number three, it brings about gender roles. That's another one, gender roles. You know, there are some culture. In some culture, it is believed that a woman does everything. A woman raises the children. A woman also works to support. So the childbearing and the child rearing is the sole responsibility of the woman. So if a man from such culture marries to a woman that is not from that type of culture, maybe in the woman's culture, the rearing of the children is the responsibility of the man. The woman will bear the children, of course. Then the man is the one to see about the welfare of the children. Now, what do you think will happen in that home? They may not be peace, because the man from his culture, the woman does everything. While the woman in her own culture, it's not the woman that does everything. The woman will do some, and the man will also do some. So, gender roles will definitely bring a problem in that type of a family. Then another one is cultural differences. We are from different culture. How do we now cope in our family? Choice of food. This is what we eat in our place. And the man will say, okay, we don't eat this type of food. So you can see cultural differences will set in. How many have I mentioned? I've talked about language problem. I've talked about use of foreign language in the family. Then I've talked about role, gender role. Then this one is, the last one I'm considering is cultural differences. Example, choice of food. These are some of the disadvantages that you definitely set in what? Intermarriage. Alright, let's see how we can put them on the board for us to see. Alright, friend, we have the advantages of intermarriage here on the board for us. These are what you have stated already, that it promotes national unity, reduces inter-ethnic conflicts, promotes understanding of our cultural differences, fosters a communal peace and religious tolerance. And it also encourages mutual economic support. What do we mean by this? If one ethnic group is facing a hard time or difficulty, then these other people that seems to be the in-law can render a support of material or financial help to the community, or assist them in one way or the other to come out of their difficulty. That is what we mean by economic support. Here are the disadvantages: language barrier, cultural differences, that is choice of food and other things, dresses may easily also come in. Use of foreign language such as English in the family instead of by the children, instead of their indigenous language, gender roles, etc., such as the distance may be It reduces the rate of relationship between the immediate family and extended families. The extended family members, especially those that may not live within where this family stay. For example, if the wife is from far away place, it may be difficult for her children or the children born in this family to visit their maternal home and also relate with the maternal relatives and other ones. Alright, there before we go, we want to look at the values. What are those attributes, those virtues that may do what? Fosters the intermarriage. What are the values that can help this intermarriage? Number one is tolerance. What do we mean by tolerance? We must relate tolerance. When we learn to accept our partner's differences and do what? And we accept it and adjust ourselves to suit with the situation. That's tolerance. Another one is affection. There must be affection between the partners. They must love each other and be fond of each other. Then we also talk about cooperation. The people involved must work together to achieve their goal for their family. That's cooperation. Then we also talk about the understanding. They have to understand each other, understand one another's differences, understand your partners. Then you do what? You now try to see how you can help him or her out of it. Then, apart from the understanding, I talk about cooperation. Then understanding. Then we also look at another one as what? Unity. There must be unity among them. There must be unity. This is another value, unity. They must believe in themselves and work together, agree together. Now, there are other ones. Alright, here we have values that fosters intermarriage. Number one, tolerance, affection, cooperation, understanding, unity, etc. That's it continues. There are other ones. Alright, my friends, with this, we are almost at the end of our lesson, but before we go, we want to quickly go through what we have done and take a few questions for our homework. We have looked at marriage as what? A legal union between a man and a woman to create family ties and for social responsibilities. That's what marriage is. In your junior class, you were taught that marriage is a union between a man and a woman to become husband and wife legally. It is not for a boy and a girl, for those that are of marriageable age. Alright, we also look at the intramarriage, a marriage within the same ethnic group, and we have looked at examples of that. Then we talk about the intermarriage as a marriage union between a man and a woman from different ethnic groups. Alright, we have said that this intermarriage does not only related to, or it's not only limited to ethnic groups or tribe. It also can also be found or cut across people from different races and religions. The people from different races and religion. So when we are looking at intermarriage, we also look at the advantages of intermarriage, which we have just finished discussing, and the disadvantages. Then lastly, we have looked at the values. What can help? What are those behavior attributes, those qualities that can help to do what? Help out in intermarriage. We have looked at these 5, but have told us that there are many of it, like mutuality and the rest of them. Alright, let's just take 1 or 2 questions for our assignment. Alright, our friends, we have a few questions here on the board for our assignment. Now, number 1 question says, differentiate between intramarriage and intermarriage and give example or examples. As you differentiate, you state example or examples. Then number 2 question goes, state 3 advantages of intermarriage. While number 3 questions, you have mention 3 disadvantages of intermarriage. 3 disadvantages of intermarriage. Now, lastly, we have list 4 values that promote intermarriage. What are those values that help to promote intermarriage? All right, my lovely learners at home. With this, we've come to the end of our lesson for today, and I believe you enjoyed the lesson. Please, I want to appreciate those of us that have been sending our assignment for marking, and also encourage those of us that have not been doing so to do it. Get your notes written down, write the assignment, and send it to school for marking. I mean those of us within the Calabar Metropolis and pupils of Beryl International School, Calabar. All right, with this, I want to say that we have come to the end of our lesson for today. I remain your class teacher, Mrs. Comfort Bassey. Say bye for now.